diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon, my fellow trudgers. Happy Saturday. Please ignore the sheet on the ceiling. I was already running late, so I didn't take it down, but I'm going to redo it. I was just trying something. So, yeah. Oh. Good afternoon, Chris. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Maybe just make it go straight back today. There we go. Today we're going to be talking about the root of our trouble. I'm sure a lot of you already know what page we're probably going to be on. It's probably going to be 62. Amber, good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. How do I like my French now? Monzo. All right, it's an old jail thing. And it was more like, oh, how do I like my now, motherfucker? We had to keep ourselves entertained in jail, and I had befriended the largest other white dude, and yeah, he was a former NFL player, and yeah, we had to at least make jail entertaining. So we were in yellow jumpsuits, and he had gotten some shaving cream, put 3 little dots. It was Halloween, and he went as a Twinkie. It was actually pretty funny. Fucking dick. And if there was a female guard, he was over there hitting on her. He was over there flirting with her. Fucking dick. I should reach out to him, see how that Italian mofo's doing. All right. The root of our trouble. Michelle, you popped in there. Good afternoon. It's good to see you. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I got some funny stories. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Also got sad stories, happy stories, tragic stories. Such is a life of an alcoholic. We have varying degrees of things that happen with us, and once we find out that we're alcoholic, okay, and we may know this at a young age. I knew at a pretty young age I was alcoholic. Amber did also. And we mainly drank on what we call the fuck-its because we knew we were alcoholic and just didn't care, right? That's an attitude of a teenager, though, for you. It really is. And, I wasn't any different as a teenager. Well, yeah, I was. I was more rebellious than most. It's funny. I watch these things on Gen X, and they're like, "You guys just don't give a fuck." Give me a couple of Gen Xers, I'll make them cry. Ain't nothing. I'm sorry. I am a Gen Xer, and I grew up in I never saw my parents. I learned how to cook when I was 7. I was babysitting my brothers and sisters by 8, doing dishes, chores, regular stuff, all by 10. Oh yeah. Yeah, key to the house. Yeah. I know where the key to the house is. You bet. All right. Back in black. I hit the sack. And yeah, I had to learn how to cook, how to pay bills, ride to school. You're funny. You're funny. Ride to school. You better catch the bus, or you're hoofing it, or riding your bike. Yeah, there was no backup. There was no backup for getting to school. You got your ass to school. If you didn't get your ass there, you were grounded. Period. That's how it worked. All right, I digress. I digress a little bit. It's just that life's a little easier for people now. It is. It's a lot different. But at the same time, we say, well, look at all these people on their phones and these kids. And you know what? If we would have had that at that age, we would have done the same thing. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't like the division um, between generations. You know, Amber and I are probably, I don't know, 25 years apart, but we're a lot alike. We're a lot alike. Yeah. Right. And it has nothing to do with generational things. It's a thought process. Well, it's just being a Virgo. Being a Virgo is the best because then you know everything. Or at least you think you do. Right. All right. It really has nothing to do with Virgo. I'm just yakking my mouth. Let's get to the big book. Let's get to some facts. Let's get to facts. Right. I'm going to go back a little bit. What usually happens? Well, the show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him very well. Should we just go back, all the way back? First requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self will can hardly be a success. On that basis, we are always almost in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Okay. We had an example of that this last week with the Thursday group. Okay. Sometimes people's intentions are not what you think they are. Okay. But it'll always come out in the action. Okay. That's where they get caught. Okay. That's what happened Thursday, Amber. They got caught. Anyway. Most people try to live life by self-promotion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. His arrangement would, if only his arrangement would stay put. If only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Isn't that what we want? To please me? Isn't that the end goal? Sounds ridiculous now, but that's exactly what my thought process was, right? But now that it's coming out of my mouth, gosh, doesn't it sound a little ridiculous? Does it sound more like a demand? In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may be quite virtuous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self-sacrificing. It's an act. That's not, he's just doing that to get what he needs out of you. And it isn't going to work because manipulation, right? And this person has their own brain. Okay. This is how I used to do stuff. Okay. And it's changed. You know, even with what I do, like the groups and stuff, I don't even make the decisions anymore. I like that. Okay. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. What usually happens? Well, the show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes on the next occasion still demanding or gracious as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that the other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self pitying. What is his basic trouble? Is he really not a self seeker even when trying to be kind? Yeah. If I was drinking and being kind to you, I wanted something. I'm going to tell you that right now. If I was drinking and I was being nice to you, I wanted something. You were probably a cute girl. All right. Is he not a victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well? It is not evident to all the players that these are the things he wants, and do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate, snatching all they can get out of the show? Is he not, even in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony? And there's our key and our question. Our question. Okay. Am I creating more harmony than confusion? Okay. Harmony tends to come with equality. Means everybody's going to get the same shot. Okay. Confusion means, no, we started a meeting and you can't join because we're on the sixth step. See? Doesn't work. Amber and I are discussing something at the same time. It's our Thursday meeting. Still going to be a step study, but it's going to be from the 12 by 12 now. We've decided to do it a little different. The way that it was set up is if you showed up, in the middle of it, they didn't want you there. And I'm sorry, it's an open meeting, and I can't tell people to not be at an AA meeting. I won't do it. So now you kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit. Our actor is self-centered, egocentric, as people like to call it nowadays. He is like the retired businessman who lolls in the Florida sunshine in the winter, complaining of the sad state of the nation. The minister who sighs over the sins of the 20th century. Politicians and reformers who would be sure all would be utopia if the rest of the world would only behave. The outlaw safecracker who thinks society has wronged him, and the alcoholic who has lost all and is locked up. Whatever our protestations, are we not, most of us, concerned with ourselves or resentments and our self-pity? Here comes the juicy part. Here comes the meat. Here comes the meat of the third step. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our trouble. Okay. They put we think in there to be nice again. Take it out. That is the root of our troubles. That is the root of my trouble. I can go further, can I? Driven. Okay. And I wasn't the one driving. Okay. When something is being driven, I am not in the driver's seat. Driven means that it's being done by something else. And in this case, it was not God. It was not Jesus. It was not anything but evil. Evil. Pure, black evil. That's what it is. Driven by 100 forms of fear. You could actually stop right there and it would actually answer the rest of them, because fear is the basis of self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. Okay. Fear is the manifestation. Fear is where all my bullshit starts. Notice what I said. It's where my bullshit starts. Okay? That means they're not real problems. These are problems that I make up. And my brain is still very, very good at them. Okay? You'll see the actions of others. Then, by some reasoning, I will self justify it in my mind to figure out how they are wrong. What in the hell does that have to do with anything? Right? I need to stay in my lane. I need to look at me. It gets worse. So, driven by 100 forms of fear, self delusion, self seeking, and self pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Why should they not? Don't I retaliated? Not all of them retaliate because they don't want to deal with they didn't want to deal with my bullshit. So they didn't retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation. But we invariably find that at some time in the past, we have made decisions based on self, which later places us in a position to be hurt. Okay. And what they're getting ready to say next is proof in pudding 100%. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. Okay. Let's take the niceties out. So our troubles are basically of our own making. See what happens when we take the niceties out? The other 99 did that. Bill didn't write that way. He was very abrupt. He's very in your fucking face. Okay. We had to levy a little. Okay. Because people are, and they'll run, man. They'll run. Because nobody likes to be told what to do. Even now, I don't really like being told what to do. Do you? I don't. Okay. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme of self-will run riot. Here comes the kicker, though he usually doesn't think so. Okay. The amount of denial rooted in us is deep. Denial is rooted deep, 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 deep in us. Okay. It's like a weed. You're going to have to dig to get to the bottom of that thing, or it's going to regrow next year. Okay. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. Okay. And you don't need alcohol in you in order for your anger to kill you. You just need to keep being angry. It'll kill you. You'll have a heart attack. You'll have a stroke. It will kill you. Okay. I had a heart attack at 42 because of my anger. People are like, it's your drinking. It was my anger. It was I'm not saying the drinking, didn't exasperate it, because it did. But no, it was this. It was this. It was my anger. Well, why did we go to anger, man? Because it's kind of default. It's the default emotion. Okay, sadness, happiness, anger, these are defaults. Okay. So all I was really trying to do really was fit in. That's all I was trying to do, but I couldn't. I didn't know how. I was always the odd duck. And because of that, it made me angry. Because, because you can't figure it out. Then you feel stupid. There we go. And when somebody makes me feel stupid, I get angry. Oh boy, I still do. But it's when I allow people to do that, right? We must get rid of this, or it kills us. God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. I have not found any other answer. Okay. You may find another answer. I doubt it. You're not going to find one. Okay. Legions of alcoholics have tried. You are not going to find one. Accept what we have. Join us in the sunlight of the spirit, man. Place yourself in the center of that herd where it's safe and protected and enjoy life with us, man. That's what we want. And we don't care who you are. We don't care where you came from. I don't care how dangerous other people think you are. You don't scare me. That's the beautiful thing about. Now, that's not true for everybody, but a lot of people just don't scare me. They don't. The people that do scare me are the people that have no care for life at all, that are highly intelligent. Those people scare the crap out of me. All right. There you go. And spiders. Not as much as snakes, though. I'm more scared of snakes than I am spiders. All right. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not have lived up to them even though we would have liked to. I have been in therapy since I was 13 years old. I have been learning these skills for a very, very long time. And there's nothing worse than them being just out of reach because you have decided to drink. It is very frustrating, okay? Because I couldn't live up to them. I cannot follow the AA program and have alcohol in my body. It doesn't work. I tried it. Guess what? It doesn't work. It's that dream state that you go into. Okay? It's the dream state. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. We had to have God's help. This is the how and why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. And that's hard. Isn't that hard? It was harder than I thought it was going to be. It was. Because I was like, you know what? I can do that. I can just stop being a dick. Oh, it was so much more than that. It was instilled in me. Okay? Like my wife would say something and I would react. And not very nicely. Okay? And it took a long time for me to get out of that mode. Okay? What is it? It's a survival mode. And I know survival mode very, very well. Okay? I lived on Skid Row. I know what needs to be done. All right. And, you know, I know people wonder. No, I never had to sell my body. I was lucky. I don't think I would have. I would have beat the crap out of them taking their shit first before doing that. Just saying. You want to know how I made money? I went to the nicer areas and I would stay in the laundry rooms because they'd be open. And there's always change under the washer and dryers. Oh, I got my money. All right. This is the how and why, but first we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Next, we decided that hereafter in this drama of life, God was going to be our director. He is the principal. We are his agents. He is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arc through which we pass to freedom. Yes, a freedom I don't want to leave. I love my freedom. I love my freedom from alcohol. Okay. I love my freedom from my self-will. I very much enjoy my freedom from the feeling the need to control other people. It was so bad. Let's just put it that way. I had it bad, man. And I really had to learn. Okay, I'll give you a really, really good example. Okay. My son goes through a lot of the same things that I go through because he kind of had the same life that I did. Okay. And my wife is very, very good at approaching me. Okay. And I found that I was very, very bad at approaching my son. So I went to her and said, how do you approach me? It worked. Yeah. So it worked, right? I went to I'm like, oh, I don't have this skill yet. That's why it's not working. That's why it's not popping up, because I don't have this skill yet. So I had to go learn something new so that I could be of more use, right? And that's how we add on. That's how I do things, right? So I sent a message to my daughter yesterday and just told her, I'm thinking of you, I miss you, I love you. She wrote back at one point, I love you too. Did you get my message on the 11th? And I didn't, and I still don't have it, and it's driving me crazy. I want to know what it is. She better not be moving out of town again. I'll be pissed. I want to know what it is, but I don't want to bug her. All right. I love y'all. Thanks for being here. Oh, group conscience. I'm going to the group conscious. I need to go to the group conscious if things are out of control a little. All right. One thing I don't like is people taking credit. We've always been on everything AA, and I don't know why suddenly somebody's taking credit that it's on there now. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't on there. I don't know. All right. It doesn't matter. Happy Saturday. I hope this helped. I hope this helped you out, or gave you reminders, or did anything. So, thank you everybody for being here. I love you. Peace out and have a day. Bye bye.